I take notice of the planetary alignments. So as the moon and the sun and all the planets move through the solar system, they cross through various zodiac signs. And I always observe where they are in the night sky, and I always observe what zodiac sign they're passing through. Now, if you're interested in zodiac signs and you're interested in the solar system and the history of astrology, you can go to my website and it's all on there. All you've got to do is do a search for it. But also on Facebook, if you look my name up on Facebook, you'll find my page on Facebook. And whenever the alignment is happening, whenever the moon or the sun or the planets are moving past a zodiac sign, I give you that alignment on the day that it happens, so that you can then look into the different affinities for that sign. Mars in Cancer. Today, Mars transits the constellation of Cancer. Mars in Cancer is the warrior turned guardian. In its detriment, Mars cannot charge directly. Instead, its energy curls inward, becoming fiercely protective of home, family, and feeling. This is not weakness. It is the most dangerous of all forces, something fighting to defend what it loves. The aggression is indirect, but the tenacity is absolute. In retrograde, old wounds surface. Long suppressed anger finally speaks, and the protective instinct must learn where it ends and where another begins. Mars in Cancer, the warrior comes home to feel. If Mars in Aries is a sprinter and Mars in Taurus is a builder, Mars in Cancer is a protector. The warrior's energy doesn't disappear here. It goes inward, becoming fiercely devoted, emotionally driven, and deeply motivated by love, security, and belonging. This is traditionally considered Mars in its fall, meaning Mars is in the sign opposite its exaltation, Capricorn, and operates less comfortably here, but less comfortable doesn't mean weak. It means the energy expresses differently, and understanding that difference is everything. The core energy. Cancer is a water sign ruled by the moon, the realm of feeling, memory, instinct, and the soul's deepest needs. When Mars, the planet of drive and action, moves through this territory, our motivation becomes emotionally rooted rather than rationally directed. You don't act because it makes sense. You act because you feel it in your bones. This is the energy of the parent who would move mountains for their child. The artist who creates from a place of raw vulnerability. The person who finally stands up, not because they planned to, but because something was threatened that they loved too deeply to stay silent. What this transit activates. It activates protective instincts. The urge to guard what is precious intensifies enormously. Home, family, loved ones, and emotional security become the primary motivators for action. If something threatens the nest, Mars in Cancer responds with surprising ferocity. It activates emotional courage. This transit asks you to be brave in the realm of feeling, to speak what is in your heart, to act on what your intuition has been telling you. Emotional honesty becomes its own form of strength. It activates creativity and nurturing drive. Mars in Cancer channels beautifully into creative work, cooking, homemaking, caregiving, and anything that involves tending something into existence. The drive here is gentle but deeply sustained. It activates indirect action. Where Aries Mars charges directly, Cancer Mars moves sideways, intuitively, sometimes defensively. There can be a tendency to act from emotion rather than clarity, to snap when hurt, or retreat when overwhelmed, or to pursue goals in a roundabout way. It activates moodiness and energy fluctuation. Because Mars here is ruled by the moon, energy levels can ebb and flow with the tides. Motivation may surge and then recede. This is not weakness, it is different rhythm entirely. The shadow side. The key challenge of Mars in Cancer is the risk of passive aggression, emotional manipulation, or acting from unprocessed hurt, rather than from clear intention. When Cancer sensitivity combines with Mars's assertiveness in an unconscious way, it can surface as sulking instead of speaking, holding grudges under the surface, using emotional withdrawal as a weapon, acting on fear of loss rather than genuine desire. The antidote is conscious emotional expression. Feeling the feeling, naming it, and then choosing the action from a grounded place. Let feeling be information, not instruction. Your emotions are valid data, but pause before letting them drive every action. Protect what matters, but choose your battles. Not every perceived threat requires a response. Channel the nurturing drive. This is exquisite energy for home projects, family, creative work, and healing. Honor your energy rhythms. Rest when the tide is out. Act when the tide comes in. Speak from the heart directly. Cancer Mars works best when vulnerability is expressed openly rather than acted out indirectly. The gift. At its highest expression, Mars in Cancer is love in action. It is the energy of someone who shows up consistently, tenderly, and with quiet ferocity for the people and things they hold sacred. It builds not empires but homes, not legacies but belonging. And a question to sit with. What would you fight for if you weren't afraid of how deeply you care? Mars in Cancer says, your tenderness is not your weakness. It is your greatest source of power. For more information, go to sarahwaite.com and search for Cancer.